Welcome to Quick Tech News, where we keep you updated in the world of tech without wasting your time. OLED is an incredible technology which has moved both the phone and TV industry forward when it comes to image quality. But it's also scary, with many people even today worried about screen burn-in, which is when a static image, which is held on screen for a long time, could leave a permanent mark. I was browsing YouTube, as I do, and I stumbled across this video from Samsung, which is showing off their OLED display technology for laptops. To be clear, this is just a video they ran at CES showing off their vision of the future. They don't have a laptop like this today, and we probably won't see it for a couple of years at least. So I thought it would be fun to sort of take this video apart and discuss whether or not OLED displays are the future of laptops. Now, to be clear, OLED displays on laptops already exist. For example, on this Razer Blade 15, which if you spec out to the absolute maximum, you get the option to have it with an OLED screen. But so far there are very few models which let you do this. The first interesting thing I noticed is Samsung has branded this as a Blade Bezel, which I'm sure Razer will be very happy about. But in essence, having an OLED panel means there do not need to be any backlights behind the screen, and this does allow them to reduce the size of the bezels, which means you'll be able to get a larger screen without necessarily having a larger laptop. Now, assuming these laptops are touchscreen, but even if they aren't, having no bezel could pose a potential risk of getting fingerprints all over your screen every time you go to open your laptop. So they'll need to be working on different kinds of anti-fingerprint screen coatings as well to make sure this isn't such a big problem. It also means the screen can be considerably thinner and lighter than before. This does raise the question though whether or not with such thinness and lightness the screen will feel weak or fragile when you're opening and closing it. Personally, I don't mind a bit of extra thickness to make sure the whole unit feels solid, but that's just me. Next, they showed off the invisible camera hole, so basically you can have the webcam behind the screen and you don't need any hole or any notch in the top of the display. This is something we're starting to see in the mobile phone industry, with the first real contender being the ZTE Axon 20 5G. Although it looks like they just kind of rushed this to market so they have something cool to show off, but this technology is very much still in its infancy and I would say not ready yet to be mass produced. But again, this is where we are moving, and not long into the future we will have cameras behind screens. It does raise the question of privacy, because no longer will you be able to hide your camera, particularly on the laptop, but also phones, without sticking something over your actual screen, which isn't ideal. So that's pretty much this video. I also found another one which is worth quickly checking out. This one shows off stuff that's probably even further away, but you've got some folding OLED displays which can fold multiple times, so you could have a very small device become a very large screen. You also have slidable screens and rollable screens, both of which allow you to extend the size of your screen and reduce it when you need to put it away. So, those are the videos from Samsung. I do find it a bit funny how much they push their OLED display technology on their smartphones and now it seems on their laptops, but when it comes to TVs they say OLED sucks, it gives you burn-in and you should buy their QLED TVs instead. Rest assured guys, even Samsung is well aware that OLED displays are superior for image quality in TVs as well, but they probably can make a lot more money from their TVs if they don't have to buy the panels from LG. So they will stay on the QLED train until micro LED comes into play. Anyway, I've been rambling a bit, so let's discuss the main concern here, an OLED display on a laptop. Well, similarly to phones and TVs, it means your laptop display will look amazing. You'll get those deep, contrasty blacks because the screen can turn off pixels where it doesn't need them to be on. Screen burn-in is still a potential issue, and particularly could be on laptops because you have some elements of the user interface that are generally always visible. For example, the start bar on Windows, although you can hide this so it only pops up when you move your mouse down to the bottom. But you also have things like the bar at the top of any window where you have your window options. Basically, any elements of the screen that stays static has the risk of creating screen burn-in over time. Now, the technology keeps improving, and with features like pixel shifting, which essentially moves the screen ever so slightly on a regular basis to keep the pixels from displaying the exact same color indefinitely, do help to reduce the burn-in risk. But they don't entirely fix this problem either. If you have a large area of the screen displaying, let's say, a bright green and you shift the pixels one way or another, most pixels will still be displaying a bright green. Anyway, I think OLED will become more and more popular on laptops for the next few years at least, until micro-LED becomes more mainstream and accessible for everyone. And at that point, depending on where OLED stands as a whole, we may see OLED disappear the same way plasma screens did. But again, that's probably quite a few years away. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you could like the video, subscribe, and tell your friends to help get this channel off the ground. Thanks, and see you next time.